Given all the buck activity we've observed in this area during the past couple of years, we started studying the onX map to develop a hunting strategy for this fall. After considering our approach, predominant wind directions, thermals, and what we know about deer movement in the area, we decided to put a hot zone fence and protect part of the beans from being browsed during the summer in the second house plot. Before hunting season, we'll put a stand or blind on the east side of the hot zone. We selected the east side because it backs up to a creek. And with the thermals and cold air and the predominant winds, our scent should drop in that creek and go down it so we can approach, hunt, and exit from the east without alerting deer. Once we had mapped this strategy out, it was time to head to the second house plot, put up the hot zone. The Eagle Seed forage soybeans in this plot are looking great, but it's early in the summer. We want to protect a portion of those beans from being browsed on so they'll produce the maximum amount of pods. During the late summer, we'll broadcast a fall blend into the standing beans so we'll have greens and grain in the same place. This is a neat way to make a great stand location, ensuring there's high quality forage right in front of the stand. When the conditions start getting right to hunt this stand, we'll remove all or portions of the hot zone and give deer access to the forage. We used the same strategy last year in a plot we call prickly pear. We waited till about the late season, then opened up a portion of the fence, and when the conditions were right, Daniel hunted the downwind side. Just after shooting light, a mature buck we called Ringer 8 entered the plot. Ringer 8 was obviously hungry and seeking those high-energy bean pods. Based on our past observations, we couldn't wait to put up another hot zone and make a great stand or blind location. Nice cool morning here at the Proving Grounds. It's not raining, which is a pleasant change from the past couple of weeks. We're at a small plot, probably just less than an acre, we call Second House. There's an old house place all dilapidated over here. And last year, we had several bucks in this general area. So we're gonna get ahead of the game this year, put up a hot zone fence, protect these beans from being browsed, let them really mature, make a lot of pods, because we think again this year during the rut, bucks will be circling this area. We're gonna have the best food right here. There's food plots all up and down the creek, but right here, the creek kind of makes a little bend, and there's a 30-acre bedding area right behind that line of trees. Bucks tend to cruise downhill that bedding area. It's cold during the rut usually. Wind's coming down off the mountain, the thermal's coming down, and cruise to bottom side of that bedding area, scent checking does. So we're gonna have a food resource that's gonna be very attractive, got a big bedding area and a natural funnel. Put it all together and hopefully we can tag a couple of good bucks out of this plot. The steps are easy. We're gonna figure out exactly where we want the fence, think about tree stands or blinds, how we're gonna approach, lay the fence out, start putting it up. A couple of hints about using the hot zone successfully. First, you need it grounded good. People always think the solar charger's not working, but it's usually a poor ground. You have to have a ground for the electronics to all work. Second is keep the fence at least 10 feet or so from the edge of thick cover. You might have a coyote chasing deer or something. They're going through thick cover. They need a step or two to see the fence so they can adjust their pass. Otherwise, they might run right through the fence. Got some new interns here at the Proving Grounds. Gonna break them in right, show them how we use a hot zone to protect some forage until hunting season. All right, let's get it going. We used a rangefinder to measure the size of the fence and make sure we were within shooting distance of where we'd place a stand or blind. That's good. We then laid out the fence by driving the corner post. The hot zone is a 2-layer fence. There's an outer fence where we use a 1/2-inch wide electrical tape, and it's placed 18 inches above the ground. The second layer is 3 feet toward the forage you wish to protect. And on that layer, we use electrical wires that are 10 and 24 inches above the ground. This design is very important. If the 2 layers are placed too close together, deer tend to jump both of them at once. And if they're too far apart, deer will jump one and jump the other. For reasons not totally understood, 3 feet works perfectly to keep deer from jumping.
Okay, 3 feet's right there.
Once the corner posts are in place, we string a wire between them so we know exactly where to put the perimeter post. We place posts about every 15 yards or so around the perimeter. Sometimes we place the post a bit closer or a bit further apart based on any change in topography. We're careful to drive the post just the right depth so the holes in the post where the wire will be attached are at the appropriate height to give us either 18, 10, or 24 inches above the ground. Clipping the wire to the post is easy, but each post has multiple holes so you can drive them deeper or more shallow if there's a lot of rocks in the area, like there is here at the proving grounds. When laying out a hot zone fence, once you get the perimeter established, walk right between where the fences are gonna be. You wanna mash that down anyway. You don't be walking willy-nilly through the middle or on the outside, killing beans. Walk right where you wanna keep the beans low, keep them from shorting out the fence. The guys quickly had the fence up and it was time to install the power unit. The fence is battery powered. We use a deep cycle battery, but has a solar panel to put a trickle charge on the battery. That way, the batteries last a long time. It probably goes without saying, but it's important to have that solar panel facing south and positioned so it gets as many hours of sun throughout the day as possible. Don't put it where shade's gonna cover it during the early afternoon. Once the power unit is in place, the last step before turning it on and testing it is making sure none of the vegetation is touching the wires. Too much vegetation touching the wires can draw the fence down by shorting it out.